Thursday night, we showed you highlights of first heat action, and in the junior motorcycle category, Gareth Swanepoel went on to win overall for the day. Dux Caroline won the second heat and the main event in the super special category, beating log leader Jackie Hubert, while Joe Smith couldn't repeat his good performance in the first heat. Evan Hutchison had a field day in the super quad category, winning all three of the day's races and extending his championship lead. Alfie Cox won the first and the second heat in the 200cc motorcycle category and gave the youngsters a real run for their money. In super trucks, Paulo Piazzamusso sorted out his problems with the circuit and won the second heat, while Arthur Harkes still suffered from fuel starvation problems. After round one of Total Super Series at AA Kyalami in February, Ryan Hunt was leading the open motorcycle category, but it's early days and any of the top six could overtake him. Ryan leading the championship, it's you and Gary again today, it seems.
Yeah, we both, he's a couple of points behind me, and this is our second event now. So it's going to be a close race, I think, today.
What's our conditions like out there?
Conditions aren't too bad. It's been a bit muddy in practice so far. I think if the sunshine holds out today, it's going to be a good day, and maybe even see some dust in the afternoon.
The first two heats were won by Gary Peterson, and he was determined to make it a clean sweep after the main event. And yes, once again, it's Peterson shooting to the lead as they go through the bowl for the first time. Peterson is on a Team Brasco FMF Racing Kawasaki 250, and his aggressive riding style stood him in good stead as the field streamed through the first corners. Ace Peterson with Ian Topless on his Elna Fox Kawasaki in hot pursuit. Glenn Tantum on a Honda is well placed, and some riders really stretch it to the limits. Motocross champion Ian Topless only finished 5th in the first heat and 3rd in the second, so now he was determined to win the main event. Glenn Tantum was still 3rd, Alan Julian 4th, and Alfie Cox on number 500 5th. Things were still very hectic in the battle for 3rd, with Tantum under pressure from Alan Julian. Alfie Cox was waiting to cash in on any development ahead of him. Oh, and Alan Julian is treading a very fine line there. Oh, that was very close. Cox cashes in, and Peter Wrigglesworth also moves past. That's Wrigglesworth in 4th, Julian in 5th, and Cox in 6th. But still, Peterson leads with Ian Topless close behind. They've now pulled a gap on the rest of the field, and it's going to be fought out between the former and current motocross champions. Back to the battle for 3rd, and there's Peter Wrigglesworth on his Gentle Touch auto-body Suzuki, just diving through on the inside of Alan Julian's Shell Racing Honda. Just behind them, it's still Glenn Tantum in a titanic battle with Alfie Cox.
In second, it is the Elna Fox Kawasaki. In third place, it's Suzuki Alpha. Gentle Touch auto-body.
Wrigglesworth hasn't had a good day, only finishing 14th in the first heat and not completing heat 2, but now he was handily placed to challenge for top points. Alfie Cox wasn't content with 6th position and was placing maximum pressure on Tantum. Greg Aspinall is in 8th. On the 6th lap, and still Gary Peterson had everything under control. He was demonstrating tremendous riding skills as he pursued his 3rd win in a row. Ian Topless could only hope for the unlikely that Peterson would make a mistake.
Peterson still holding that gap over his younger protege.
The back markers could possibly force Peterson into a mistake, which was highly unlikely. Topless grimly held on. From the famous Peterson bike racing family, Gary showed just how much natural riding talent he possessed, and the opposition had no answer.
He's not the Burger King, he's not the Blimp anymore.
Further back, Peter Wrigglesworth had dropped to 4th behind Alan Julian and had Alfie Cox to worry about. Meanwhile, Gary Peterson was still cutting through the back markers like a hot knife through butter. Ian Topless was still hoping down in 2nd position, while Alan Julian and Peter Wrigglesworth were still scrapping for 3rd. Cox comes through in 5th with Glenn Tantum down to 6th. Gary Peterson was now well on his way to his 3rd victory of the day, with Ian Topless in 2nd position having the best ride of his day. Backmarkers must have been overawed at the speed and ability of the leaders. It still wasn't clear which of Alan Julian or Peter Wigglesworth was going to finish third. But nobody could touch Gary Peterson, who made it 3 in a row for the day and went to the top of the points ladder after round 2 of the championship. Julian prevailed over Wigglesworth in the battle for third. Gary, taking the lead in the championship now, you must be satisfied?
Yes, Hendrik, it's a long year. Anything can happen. 3 hits, like you had 2 hits at Kyalami, it's a bit unfair, you know, because like if you mess up in 1 hit, you can always make back with 2 hits still to go, you know. With 2 hits, you mess up in the first heat or the second heat and your points are destroyed, you know. And I'm happy. I mean, I had to work hard there, and it's very cold here today, even on the bike. I mean, you can't believe your muscles are very tight and everything. And I saw Toppy was catching me there, but you know, he got closer. I rode harder, pulled away. Very happy.
Now to the pro quad category, where Christo van der Merwe emerged as a serious threat to current champion Wikus van Deventer after the AA Kyalami event. Jacques Struwig is also a rider to watch out for. Christo, voor die kampioenskap op die oomblik 'n goeie begin vir die seisoen.
Ja, ons is op hierdie stadium baie gelukkig. Jammer van Waberspan, daar sulke dinge gebeur, maar vandag is die super series natuurlik en daar loop ons voor. So vandag gaan ons dit maar weer voluit gaan. Die baan is eintlik baie mooi. Die modder is 'n groot probleem vir almal, veral vir ons waterverkoelde masjiene. Ons sal dit maar skoon hou en ek dink dit gaan 'n harde reis wees, ja.
Heat 1 was won with the narrowest of margins by Wikus van Deventer over Jacques Struwig, and as Heat 2 got underway, the reigning champion again took the lead on his Jojo Tanks Honda 330. It's closely followed by Christo van der Merwe on the Johannesburg Yamaha Banshee and Jacques Struwig on his Suzuki. The deep mud from the previous night's rain caught out 1 or 2 riders. But no such problems for Wikus van Deventer, who switched to Honda this season. Christo van der Merwe was determined to do better than his 3rd position in Heat 1 and was keeping in touch with Van Deventer. Van Deventer, van der Merwe and Struwig were already pulling away from the rest of the field as their superior skills and machinery started to show. Van Deventer has virtually made this category of off-road racing his own over the last few years, but this year some serious pretenders to his throne have emerged, and it was clear that he had some concern. His win in the previous heat was his first for the year, and he was keen to stamp his authority on the championship again. Now Jacques Struwig was beginning to make his move on Christo van der Merwe. But that little mishap would have cost him some time, and he will have to do it all over again. Van Deventer would be happy if the other two kept themselves busy so that he could pull away. Van Deventer complained about a lack of fitness after the first heat, and to see him work on that machine of his, it is no wonder. With Van Deventer pulling a gap, the interest was now on the battle for 2nd position as Struwig was again challenging Van der Merwe. Struwig had to suss out any weakness in Van der Merwe's armour, and around the right-hander into the final straight, Van der Merwe goes much wider than Struwig. Struwig tucked his machine on a very tight line and was neck and neck as they crested the tabletop.
There we go.
But Van der Merwe had a better slingshot out of the corner and held onto his 2nd position as they approached the starting area. Van der Merwe had the inside line for the left-hander into the bowl, but Struwig kept the throttle wide open and went around him on the outside. That was brave. Former rally champion Hannes Grobler made his debut in quad racing and was lying in 10th position. Wikus van Deventer was still leading, but now he had the man who gave him so much trouble in the first heat bearing down on him. Jacques Struwig missed out on a win by a hair's breadth, and he was saying to himself, not this time, pal. Struwig held his line through the final corner, but Van Deventer misjudged his entry speed and went wide, handing the lead to a surprised but very grateful Struwig. Struwig was flying the Australian flag after a bet with a friend of his, and he knew that now he would have a battle royale on his hands. Van Deventer doesn't take defeat lying down, and he would take back his first place any way he could. Struwig was defending just as hard as Van Deventer outbraked himself into the tight right-hander. That allowed Struwig some breathing space as he pulled away from Van Deventer, who surely felt that he could kick himself. But he didn't have a lot of time to think because Christo van der Merwe was rapidly arriving on the scene. Struwig steadily pulled away while Van der Merwe couldn't get past Van Deventer, so in the end Struwig took his first win of the season ahead of the reigning champion Van Deventer and the man who dominated the first round of the championship, Christo Van der Merwe.
Looks behind him because guaranteed any man...
Jacques was baie naby die eerste keer en nou loop hy sommer weg van hulle af.
Ja, is die tweede keer met my nuwe fiets ry. Ek begin nou gewoon trek, al die probleme is uitgesorteer. Ons hoop net gaan goed verder.
Toe Wieke as hierdie oomblik gehad het net voordat julle in die hoofbouwvak afgegaan, dink jy dit was jou kans geweest of sou jy hom in elk geval gevang het?
Ek weet net, ons moes uitvind, maar ek glo ek's 'n bietjie fikser as hy en dis wat my voordeel het.
The 200cc motorcycles provided some of the best racing of the day. 5 laps into the main event, Freddie Fourie on his Elna Fox Kawasaki was still leading, with his teammate Ian Topless in second. The winner of the previous 2 heats, current champion Alfie Cox, was languishing down in 6th position on his AGA Panasonic Castrol KTM behind Paul Henneke on a Honda. There wasn't a lot of time left if Cox wanted to make it a clean sweep for the day, and Henneke was not about to help him do it. Cox is a multiple South African champion in just about any form of off-road motorcycle racing you can think of, and has also won the Roof of Africa more times than anybody else. But he was finding it very hard to get past some riders who were almost half his age. Out in front, Freddie Fourie had a comfortable lead over his teammate Ian Topless and was looking at his first victory of the day. Peter Wrigglesworth also seemed safe in third, but Bruce Robertson couldn't be sure of anything with Alfie Cox bearing down on him. Wrigglesworth on the Gentle Touch Auto Body Suzuki knew that if Alfie Cox got past Robertson, his position would also not be safe. And Cox was attacking. Teammates Brett Gray and William Gillett were fighting it out for 6th position. But the question was, would Alfie Cox be able to move up to the front before his time ran out? Bruce Robertson didn't finish in the top 10 in any of the previous heats, and if he could keep going, he would this time, but not in 4th, because there's Alfie Cox, who just glides past Robertson into 4th position. Meanwhile, up front, Freddie Fourie was still going strong, guiding his Elna Fox Kawasaki to victory. Ian Topless in 2nd position was taking evasive lines around the back markers. Freddie Fourie is a talented young man of whom many great things are expected, and his battle with teammate Ian Topless is not only limited to Total Super Series, but also a feature of the Motocross Championship. Ian Topless is the current 125 and 250 Motocross champion, and he will settle for 2nd position to fight another day. But someone who's not going to settle for 4th is Alfie Cox, who sneaks by Peter Wrigglesworth to move into 3rd position and take 1st overall for the day ahead of the youngsters. And that's the way they stay. Fourie and Topless really dominating the race, with Cox having had to fight hard to finish in the top 3. Robertson had a good ride to finish 5th, while Henneke dropped down to 7th. The main event for super trucks and production vehicles held all the promise of a great race, and from the start the action came thick and fast. Craig Draper, making his debut in this category in a creepy crawly Ford, flew out of the starting blocks, with teammate Paulo Piazzamusso right next to him. Linton Draper in his Chev pushed hard, and Piazzamusso bore the brunt, while Cassie Coetzee had to take evasive action, allowing Arthur Harkes and Cliff Barker through. Draper capitalized and pulled away, while Cliff Barker in the Penzua Land Rover tried to get by Arthur Harkes. It's Draper and Piazzamusso, then Linton Draper in the Chev, Harkes in the creepy crawly Hugbug Special, Cliff Barker and Cassie Coetzee in his Castrol Toyota Hilux. Car with Harkes as he wrestles with a heavy super truck. Not a good day for him so far. Fuel starvation caused withdrawals in both the previous heats. That's Linton Draper in 3rd position. Harkes and Draper fighting for 3rd. Then Cliff Barker in 5th, ahead of hard-charging Cassie Coetzee in aging Castrol Toyota Hilux. But this is the battle for the lead. Craig Draper on the inside and Paulo Piazzamusso trying every trick he's learnt in rallying to try and get by his creepy crawly teammate. It was down this straight where Piazza Musso made the mistake of going on the route for the production vehicles in the first heat, for which he was penalised by 30 seconds to drop him down to 5th. He promptly won the second heat, but this time he had young Craig Draper to get by, and easy it was not going to be. Back with Arthur Harkes in the Hugbug, and he's dropping back. Draper is definitely pulling away. Does Harkes still have a problem? Even though Draper was struggling with a misfire in the V8 Chev, Harkes just didn't seem to be able to stay with him. In the production vehicle category, there's a nice ding-dong battle between Frank de Greef in his Beetle, Richard Leek in his Castrol Toyota Hilux, and log leader Henry Zermatten in his Chev. De Greef is keeping his cool, while there's virtually nothing between Leek and Zermatten behind him. Back to the leaders, and 6 laps have gone. Still, it's Draper from Piazza Musso, and by now that rally driver must be wondering just where and how he'll find a way past the off-roader. Piazza Musso was still carrying the battle scars of that first lap altercation with Draper Sr., and he was pushing the creepy crawly Ford as hard as it would go. Draper Jr., however, had quickly learned the art of racing the heavy machine and was not going to let anyone rob him of his first victory. Meanwhile, Arthur Harkes has creeped closer to third place Linton Draper. That creepy crawly Hugbug special still sounds very rough, and it seems as if Harkes just cannot get it up to speed down the straights. We join him inside the cockpit. Back to the leaders, and now Piazza Musso is right on the tail of his creepy crawly Ford teammate. He'll have to be in a position to take advantage of any mistake from Craig Draper, even perhaps when a back marker gets in the way. Into the final straight, and Piazza Musso is on the inside, but he has the door shut firmly in his face, and Draper out-drags him to the tabletop. Back to Harkes, and he's definitely got a problem. He can't get the Hugbug into gear. Oh dear, what a pity. That's terminal. And Harkes pulls off for the second time in the day, and he will want to forget this day's racing as soon as possible. This is the production vehicle race, and still it's Frank de Greef, now a little bit ahead of Richard Leek, but look at this. Henry Zermatten's Chef is ready to pounce, and he goes through on the inside of Leek's Castrol Toyota Hilux. Is he through? De Greef's VW Beetle seems to be pulling away from them a little bit. But there, Leek has hooked his Hilux onto the tail of Zermatten's Chev. That is extraordinary. They're both trying to shake the other off. Leek gets going first.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the battle for the lead. Time is running out for Paulo Piazza Musso if he wants to get by Craig Draper. He's going to try around the outside. No, Draper will have none of it. Both drivers have their feet right down in the corner. Oh, was that a mistake? Draper gets going again, but Piazza Musso is wasting time by throwing that Ford around like that. Round the right-hander into the main straight. Piazza Musso is closing. And it seems as if Piazza Musso had a cleaner exit than Draper. Draper will now have to defend for all his worth. Piazza Musso closes in again, and now he's right on Draper's rear bumper. He moves through on the inside, but Draper has the best line into the left-hander. Draper on the inside, Piazza Musso on the outside, and he holds it. Now he's got the line for the right-hander. And yes, he barges his way through on the inside. And this is the maneuver Piazza Musso has been working out throughout the race. It would only have worked once, and he almost throws it away. Now Piazza Musso has the lead, and he's not going to relinquish it easily. Just look at the way he throws that creepy crawly Ford Courier into the corner.
Cliff Barker ran so well within East 1 and 2. And finally Piazza Musso finds
Cliff Barker's Pennzoil Land Rover has lost drive to the rear wheels, but he moves over to let the leaders through. Oh, that's a pity, because that impressive Land Rover can run with the best. So, Piazza Musso takes his second victory of the day. He's still on top of the championship log after round 2. But it was an impressive debut for Craig Draper, and if he continues to improve, nobody's going to beat him easily. Richard Leek again took the production vehicle category.
He worked for that one. Absolutely. Craig drove outstandingly well. It was a good dice. I'm sure the spectators must have enjoyed it. It would be nice if we could have 4 or 5 trucks riding like that. It would be absolutely fantastic.
It seemed like you sussed him out and you saw where you could take him, but it was a great overtaking maneuver.
We've got big team orders. Do not bend any panels. So I just wanted to take him fair and clean, and I think the maneuver went off well.